And a very happy paint morning to you,
Paint morning,
butts.
You butts.
Hey, how you doing? How are you?
I'm good.
You good? You're good? You good? How you doing out there?
Been sleeping good. Been doing good.
Me too. I mean, I woke up early, but you know, it's like, again, the nice thing is if you're jet lagging, I suggest you jet lag to the west.
Yes.
Because then
It's
you
easier,
just
I
become
swear,
a very upstanding citizen. You go to bed early, you're early to bed.
They get up at
early to
6, and it's been like,
rise.
yeah, I'm freaking.
Just
I'm like literally like,
relax.
can I keep this up? Can I keep going to bed at 10 and get up at 6? Because this is
I think
so
that's
much
the time
better.
to try. Now's the time to try.
Yeah.
You know?
Like staying up late is ridiculous. It's worthless.
Nothing
happens after 10 p.m.
Nothing's
open. Yeah, nothing good happens. What's up, Quicksand? What's up, Emma? What's up, Steve? What's up, Eliani? Eliani won something last night.
Eliani got that.
What did you say?
I said,
Still don't just have a go. Hi, Sassy Queen. How was your birthday yesterday?
How's day 2 34ness treating you?
Crushing. That's what it is. Oh, man. What's going on? What's up, Marie Mike? How you doing? Best part of waking up is Bro Murphs in your cup.
We recommend it.
Thanks, Marie Mike.
This one has paint juice in it. Don't drink that, but drink this.
You be very careful, Mike. You keep those separate. I'm already these are way too close together.
Super Britain.
Superman, Super Britain. There's a Captain Britain.
There's Captain Britain, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Captain Britain. It's Captain America.
We should play Legendary today at some point. Because I played it with Crook the other day, and I was like, I forgot how much I freaking love this game.
Legendary is freaking amazing.
Great.
Like, especially with the all the options we have. So
can we get a little cats on this AM? I don't know. We need shh. I'm a real cat to be here.
I'll hit you with that.
Yeah, that we're gonna push out that clip.
I was
today,
singing that refrain several times on my walk.
Yeah.
Shh, I'm a real cat.
Paula Demi followed me on Twitter today, so big things are happening. That's a big deal. She does not follow us, so
a very big deal.
And Paula is just incredible. She's a wonderful person. Yeah, so we're here. We're painting. We're painting some Scythe minis. We are done with our corn demons for now. We'll probably come back to the games. We're constantly doing a 3-week cycle essentially of like doing stuff for 3 weeks, moving on. We'll come back to stuff. You know, just kind of keeping it new, keeping it fun.
Corn's here.
We got some corns.
I just got to put like the finishing touches on this guy.
Oh, there's so much work to do, Mike.
Well, I mean, of the base part. Part 1 is almost done, and then the parts like 4 through 6 that I need to get to. I'm pretty happy with this, actually. It's not bad.
How's the meeple search going? The meeple search? Oh, I don't know. We haven't found the green one yet. It's still inside a dog.
Oh, no.
We found it?
That case is closed.
Where was it?
Cause of death? Ingestion by dog.
Where did it come out?
But parts of it. Pepper Gonzalez was in a similar way to Tad Magnum. Tad Magnum was in pieces.
Did she eat him?
So too went Pepper.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Pepper was.
Did you find her in pieces in certain substances this morning?
Oh yes.
Oh Lord.
I found a significant enough piece of evidence to call the case.
It's bright green,
closed.
so yeah. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, Pepper got eaten by a dog last night and then pooped out this morning. So
yeah.
I
was really hoping it pooped a solid mini so I could reuse it. But
yeah.
No dice, folks. No dice.
Indeed.
Can't glue that one back together. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
That is. Oh, that was a rough night for poor Pepper there.
Yeah, Pepper had a bad night, man.
Pepper Gonzalez.
She saved the day and then immediately got destroyed by a puppy. Yeah.
I know. Our 2 most.
That's so funny.
Influential investigators got hosed.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they really did.
Good thing we have version 1. We can get
Nice
the minis back.
Yeah, no, seriously though. I'm like, oh my Lord.
What are you gonna do?
So we're painting some Scythe minis today. This is gonna be fun because this is totally different than anything else we've painted. Everything else we've painted, we're painting like humanoid stuff. You know, we painted Roman bones for a while, which are very like kind of gritty, and you know, and then we started painting some corn, which are much more refined. And now we're painting mechs.
I'm terrified.
Which are gonna be like metal and like grungy. And so Mike is very scared. And I'm very excited about the fact that you're scared.
I just like.
I want to get.
We've not painted like human beings, so I haven't made them look like human beings of corn demons and stuff. But they're things with skin and whatnot.
You could have made that one a human being, but you decided to make an ice demon.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's way sweeter.
It's way more metal.
This is one of like speaking of metal, is made of metal.
Yeah.
Now Nick blew my mind recently, which makes me feel a little bit better because I was thinking like I don't know, I can't just make this thing purple.
Yeah.
Or orange, but then Nick said, "But yes, you can."
You can.
Because I need to keep it red for the color scheme for Scythe, but you know what I mean? Like in terms of, I didn't think I could color it colorful colors. But Nick made a good point. He's like, hey, you know what? How many cars out there are unpainted?
Yeah.
None.
You see primer and just straight metal?
Yeah,
sheet
so my
metal.
cars are painted. Mechs would be painted. So you can paint them colors. And then the fun part is we can have, where Where's the paint chipped away?
Yeah, first of all, where is the paint?
Yes.
Because the entire thing isn't going to be red.
Yes, that's
so like what's going to be paint, what's going to be just straight bare metal, and then, as you were saying, then once all the base coat and the wash is on, then we can do some weathering effects, and we can rust stuff up, and we can make it messed up. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I was very like, I don't know.
So I'm painting, what are these guys called? The green guys. The hog guys. They got a hog. They got this guy.
The expansion
This guy. I can't remember their name. Is it Hungary? Is that what it is?
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
So the color I'm going for is this green. This is what I'm going to try and paint. You know what's still on? I think our green screen's still on as it's trying to punch out the bottom half of this mini.
Oh.
I was like, why is it all sparkly? Hang on. Although it wasn't a big deal.
Magic Mech.
Oh yeah, it is still on.
Oh wow.
It was a lot of so I'm going for this green once it's not sparkly. That green.
There you go.
So I'm going for this green. And I like these guys because these guys are they're like little squat little. Mikey has kind of a very typical Scythe mech.
I mean, it's got scythes on it.
It does.
You know, so I mean, this is the titular mech, maybe.
It is kind of the titular mech, indeed. So as Mike was saying, so he was kind of thinking that like they would all be metal, but they're not. So I've painted most of the mechs at this point. These are.
Yeah, show some of your previous work, would you?
Yeah. So the first ones I did were the Polania. So that's these ones right here. So I picked these ones first because these are the most, to me, stereotypical mechs. Two arms that are kind of guns, two legs walking through. So these ones I did mostly metal because they were the kind of stereotypical mech.
The mech is mostly made of gun.
Yes, exactly. So then I did red and white, and you can see I really made it look grungy and just beat up, and I put a lot of kind of like red washes on it to make it look rusty. So this is Polania, and then the white base, again, can remind you what it is. Then I did the Tagawa people, what they are, the purple faction. So these ones are kind of like, they're like bugs. They're kind of like weird little bugs. So these ones kind of got a lot more going on. So these ones I was able to make a lot more purple.
Yeah.
And then I painted the tractors, which might be my favorite mechs, because I just love that they've made tractors into mechs. So this one is mostly yellow.
Yeah, there's very little weathering. The weathering on that is very refined.
Yes.
Like it's very slight. Really pulls off a nice effect.
Yeah, so then you have the yellow one, and then the last ones I've done, these were by far my least favorite to paint because it's very hard to get underneath this stupid mech, is the boat people, the Nordics, which are also very fun because they're boats.
Did you think about cutting them off the base?
I almost did, and then I was like, that's dumb, I'm not going to do that. Then I was like, but I almost cut them off the base because it was so difficult. The good thing is, underneath here, though, something you can think about your mini paint, you're like, no one can see under here. So it's not painted well. Who
cares? A little slapdash.
Yeah, like literally no one who you would have to look like this, and even then, it's hard to tell what under there is painted.
Yeah.
So then we have
certainly if you're looking at it on a table, you will never see that. It's not possible.
So as you can see, so this is kind of what made Mike have a bit of a revolutionary thought. It's like, oh yeah, you can paint them colors. Like, and so to me, the fun of painting a mech like this is deciding what's going to be metal, what's going to be paint. And then once you're done with the paint, deciding what you're going to have like chipped off like this, which essentially is just painting metal color back on top.
So yeah, so in this one we'll go paint color first, weathering second.
Yes. So you do refined paint and color, everything like, this box, you're going to be completely red with white or whatever like that, and then wash. We're probably going to do a brown wash to kind of make it look dirty. Then we're going to do weathering effects, which will be, again, that the silver back on top of it. Then we'll probably put some Fugan orange or some Reichland Flesh Shade, which is like a red, like a brown red one, and that'll make it look kind of rusted. So that's like where you see like this bit of red right here. That's another wash. Okay. That bit of like red right there kind of makes it look rusted. That's a wash. So then we'll selectively put that, not everywhere because you don't have the whole thing be rusted. Selectively put it here and there to make it look kind of rusted.
Marine Mike says, I've heard Scythe is tough to learn and a complicated game. Here's the thing, it's not. It is and it isn't. It's weird because it's very, the
what you can
so
do
simple
in the game is not complicated.
Yeah.
The strategy in the game is very complicated.
Getting there's a whole kind of, you want to get kind of like little synergy loops. You want to go from this action to this action. You can't do the same action twice in a row unless you're whatever faction you can do that. So you need to do like this faction to move this thing, that faction to produce, and this faction over here, and this gets you an upgrade. And it's about finding those rhythms, and that can be hard. I started off really good at that, and then for the most part, I've lost it. Where like I can't find the rhythm, or I find it too late.
Yes, you tend to find the rhythm too late.
It's hard, like literally a turn too late.
Yes.
Like when we've been going through the Rise of Fenris with our buddy Crook, and I'm always like, if I can get one more turn, I'm gonna get like 2 or 3 stars.
Yes,
I'm gonna like boom, and then the game ends before I get there. So it can be a little tough that way. This is a game that I always explain to people as like, you probably won't win your first try if you're playing with someone who knows the game, because they can get up to speed and get that rhythm going quicker than you will be able to, because you don't know what the actions are and stuff. So it's a little bit tricky there, but it's...
The game itself is not complicated, though. It really isn't, in terms of what you can do. Yes. Now, what you should do is incredibly complicated.
Someone said Scythe is easy to learn as the player boards are incredibly well done. The player boards are very easy. It's very easy to tell you what the actions are. When you go to an action, you can do the top half. If you're able to do the bottom half, which can be putting out buildings, upgrading, stuff like that, you'll turn in resources and it tells you what's there. It's very well done. And so it's more about the strategy stuff.
Yeah, and the problem is also then you get even deeper, whereas like
that's most games though.
The player boards are all different too.
Yeah,
so it's like having this player board that matches with the specific faction. There's even a whole set of strategy that I don't care to learn because I just don't care that much. But there's even like, oh, this one works specifically well with this. There's even like a pairing that's like banned because it's so good. And I'm just like, what? Like but there's so much to it. But despite that, the game is pretty simple and really fun to kind of mess around. What I would say, Marine Mike, if you're curious of it, get it on Steam. Because then you can play against like easy AIs and you can learn the game, but you're not like, there's no pressure to like win because you're not playing against real people.
It's very well done digitally.
And it's really fun digitally, yes. Okay, so Mikey, let's go ahead and start up. So I need to try and make this color. I do not have this color. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I want it to be...
that red. I imagine that red exists.
That red is going to be pretty darn close. I would probably do maybe a mix of 50-50 between Mephiston Red and Evil Sun Scarlet. That's probably what I would do. Because, remember, reds dry much darker than they look.
I mean, it almost looks like this color exactly now. But would it dry that color?
Probably.
It's close.
It doesn't need to be perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well...
And honestly, using one color...
It's going to be easy, because if I come back to these ones later, you can just unless I want to batch paint now.
I'm going to have to... We're not going to finish all 4 of these right now, most likely.
Right.
So it's like... Although I will say, what we should do all the red right now. Try to. Don't try to do an entire mech, because we're going to be doing this for the next 3 weeks. So, like, we don't need to do them all right now. So I'm going to try and make this green, which is kind of a olivey, foresty green. And I don't really have that. I'm going to have to try and do a little paint mixing over here to try and figure out what the crap I'm going to do about this.
What up, Castrell?
Have this. Oh, is that a hit? Yeah. I'll download Steam and give it a try. Yeah, Mary Mac, it's really fun on Steam. Really good on Steam. And if you want to play solo, don't try and do the Automa. It's confusing. Just play it on Steam. All right, I'm going to try and do these two together and try and get that.
Sounds like it'll get you pretty close.
You know what I might
this
do?
Is also the olive color,
thin it down. I might just throw in some Anthodian Camo Shade to thin it down, because this is very much like a foresty dark olive green.
And then maybe if I kind of like a pea, like light pea green, which might get you.
We're gonna see how close I can get. And this is also why, fam, you don't need to buy 300 different colors of paint. You can just mix whatever you need. There are a lot of mini painters who literally paint with 3 colors. Your cyan, your magenta, and your, whatever the third one is. Yellow, probably. Yeah. And because you can literally make every color out of that. So they just literally do that. And that's it. And that's crazy.
Bold. That's a bold move, Cotton. So, the question, of course, today is going to be what?
That's what you got to choose right now, Mikey.
Definitely this main central panel on the top is going to be red. I'm going to make the casing for the guns red, but I'm going to make the little tube on the side and then the actual barrels a silver or metallic something.
Okay. So yours are actually, both of us are actually, they got a lot of little panels to them.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering. Is like, do I want to switch it up on the little panels and things?
My thing is like the 4 mechs, just because the rest of them are painted this way, make them all 4 the same.
Yeah. Those for sure.
Just because the rest of them are all the same. This usually I switch it up from paint job to paint job. This one I've actually kept them all the same. Okay, this is not.
But then maybe the feet will be...
Okay. Let's try and figure this out, fam.
So these little panels are going to be something different, but I wonder if I should just go ahead and paint it all red and I can deal with that later. Because like there's this like little tube coming out from here, so that one I want to be like maybe black or something, or white even.
So one thing, Mike, real quick, when I'm ever trying to do something like this, what I'll do, especially if the bottom's painted, I'll test it out on the bottom, see how close I get, and then just wipe it off. Just BT does.
That's a good point. I'll try that here.
That is not what I'm looking for at all.
Ooh, Miramax says you can make it look like more like built from scraps or replacing panels in different colors. That's cool. Like the Blue Beetle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing.
That's interesting.
And Silver said, I don't know, the game is so interesting to talk about Scythe and fun that it never seems burdensome to me. I agree. The fun to Scythe to me, a lot of it, is exploring it. Okay, so now I have kind of like a grayish... Because the thing about this green is it's very saturated. It's got a lot of color to it. So... That's too much. That's way too much.
Do you enjoy mixing paints?
Yes.
You'd recommend?
Not for everyone. Some people don't like it, and I think that's totally fair.
No, it's not fair. They're not a good painter.
Unless you mix.
I don't know. Just put a barrier.
It's too blue. That's got too much blue in it.
Too much blue, you say? So that's that. I'm pretty happy with that, if I'm honest. That's pretty good.
Because that'll dry a little darker. That's probably fine.
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm going to go with that. We're going to... I mean, I guess I can always just make adjustments later if I need to. But we're going to see. We're going to see how it goes. Okay. So now the big question, what? I'm just going to start with the front because I know that's going to be red. I will figure out the rest.
Oh, that's going to be close. Okay, that's good. That's pretty easy.
All these details and stuff. I mean, I could
see, that's not what I was expecting.
Wow.
That is close enough, fam. That is close enough. Okay, that's pretty darn close. Okay, that's pretty easy. I was actually easier than I thought. What the heck did I do to get it, though? Hold on. I think it was...
Make a note.
Yes, honestly, this is one thing I tend to not do is make notes of my paint mixtures, and I... Oh, regret it.
Oh, you're gonna regret it. Whoa.
Yeah, okay. So it is... I'm going to take a picture of it right now, actually. This is a surprising combination. I wasn't expecting this. So it's going to be Moot Green and Lauren Forest. This mixed together here is going to gives me this tone right here, which is more or less what I'm looking for. So sometimes you just got to experiment around like that. So this is interesting. I thought it was going to be some combination of all this, and I was wrong. All right.
Well, it's probably nice. It's a little simpler than maybe you thought it would be.
Yes, it is nice. Especially when if I mix two colors, that's not bad. I can get back to those two colors pretty easily in a mix. It's when I'm starting to have to mix like 3 and 4. That's when I get like crap. Like, how am I going to get this color back? Okay. So now, what fun.
My painting is just a hair sloppy Joe this morning. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Warming up the old hands. You understand?
What's up, Zan? How you doing?
Hello, Zan Banana Dang. And how are you today? How are you this fine morning?
It's fine morning.
A good happy paint morning.
Said working from home.
Rips
out.
We're doing okay. Yeah,
we're good.
That's not us. Sorry, we're doing okay too for the record.
We're gonna put it.
Okay. I definitely woke up grumpy both mornings.
Really?
This week.
Why?
Just life and the climate and stuff. It takes me a little while to kind of find my smile, but I've gotten there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that is good.
I've definitely gotten there. Getting on walks and stuff has helped me out.
Yeah, getting. That's why I had to get out of the house yesterday. I'm probably gonna do the same day. Just go for a drive or something because I'm just like I
I know. It's a tricky thing of like trying to, again, we're trying to be responsible. So it's like I even feel like a little guilty wanting to go on walks, but we have dogs. And stuff.
You actually do have a really good excuse.
Yeah, and we just staying well away from people, and it's cool because like there's definitely people outside, but everyone's being very kind of wary and stepping off the path. Especially because we have dogs that are like want to say hi to people, so we're just like, nope, none of that.
Yeah,
and it feels good.
Yeah, it's very nice. So what you choosing here, bro?
Right now I'm kind of focused on just getting this box done.
Oh, okay, the main panel.
The main panel is definitely gonna be like very red, prominently red, and like probably on the edges here is where I'll do some weathering and stuff, kind of like the seams. The seams are where the idea is like, oh, that's where something would rub and like kind of get a little bit tired. And then I'm gonna figure. I think I'm gonna do the legs red as well, and that might show more wear because there's more like articulating points that would again cause friction and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then maybe like this part of the arm and stuff. But I want to create some, I want to have some variation within it. So I'm starting with this stuff as I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm going to see about maybe leaving some of this blank for now.
Okay.
While I figure out what to make what color. So I don't know. That's just the middle's going to be pretty red forward.
Ooh, what's up?
Hey.
Thank you.
What we got?
Doc Runk. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. That's over on our channel. Thank you so much for that. If you are here watching Gen Con, if you're over there, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
So now I have these weird squat looking guys. I don't entirely know what to paint green on them. I'm thinking it might be... I tend to like to do a more like a 50-50 mix-ish. But these guys might be mostly green. At least the main spot of them here. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use this. Yeah, screw it.
Doing it.
Because all the barrels here will be silver. I think I'll make his legs pretty much, maybe like these front little panels right here. I might make green, but I think the rest of them I'm going to make silver just to break up the green. And then any of these panels inside here, like right in here, that I'll make silver to break up these panels. So all these like in spots right here, I'm going to make all these silver. And then like little things like this box on the back here, I'm going to make this box silver just to break up this big blob of green here. These like little vents right here, I'll probably make silver. Not to mention these guys are covered in rivets. And I will try, I'm not going to paint each rivet. I'm going to do a really quick like dry brush over them and hopefully paint all those rivets because these guys are absolutely covered in rivets. And those rivets will break up that green pretty effectively.
I'm into that.
Go ahead and start, I think.
Miramax said it's likely for me to be grumpy with all the meeple side lately.
That's, real talk.
Death to the meeples! I made my peace with it. Dogs be dogging sometimes.
Dogs be dogging.
I said, doggone it. That's why that phrase is, man. Because sometimes they eat your favorite toy.
They sure do, man.
Because they don't know any better. They're just like,
they don't know any better. Because they're just little puppies.
That's Pepper Gonzalez. She had a name.
See, the thing is, underneath this, oh gosh, these guys are going to suck too. Why do I keep picking the ones that are going to suck?
I tried to take that one. You said, no.
Because
you ain't ready.
You ain't ready.
Wish you was, but you're not. So I'm only going to leave these little circular bits, the articulation points. When I say leave them, I mean I'm going to splatter paint all over it on accident, but you know what I mean.
That's okay.
The point will be to not. But these legs are going to get weathered for sure.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You're like, this is something that's going to get weathered. And like you said, the edges will get weathered a lot because they're just edges. And edges tend to have a lot of stuff showing through them because they're edges. And edges tend to get worn down more than anything else. How's everyone's week going? Pretty good?
Yeah, man.
You can also do Prime Now with Whole Foods, but that's a little spendy. Yeah. It's getting food is a little tough right now because a lot of places aren't like Ralph's or a lot of grocery stores around here will deliver now, but they won't right now. So it's kind of like, darn, we're trying to actually stay inside and be good.
Yeah, we found that problem out. We were trying to like not go anywhere because like we are just back from Europe, so we're like, let's not go anywhere. And delivery wasn't happening, and then even the curbside thing was just like, oh yeah, you can do that next week. And I'm like, well, we need to eat now, so
that doesn't help us.
Going in the store,
we will avoid people.
It's the issues like those services are sort of not built for these types of moments are built for day to day when only a couple people are using it.
Yes, that's really what it is.
So, can't blame them.
But we will.
Oh, we will. You will be.
You gotta plan on advance these, yeah. You're painting all the crevices silver? Yeah, most likely. That's the plan right now. Yeah, and these ones you do have to plan in advance, which I generally don't. I generally tend to kind of paint on the fly, more or less. I don't like to super plan stuff out. But these ones, especially because all 4 of them I want to look the same. So, the weathering will all be different, but I want their paint schemes to be the same because they're part of a unit. So it would make sense for them to be all the same. But, and so in this one, you do have to plan a little bit more. I mean, I'm still kind of planning as I go, where I'm going like, oh, I'm going to leave this like this. I'm going to leave this like this. So I'm not really like writing down a whole paint scheme and figuring out before, and I'm more or less figuring like, oh, I'm going to leave this right now. I'm going to leave this right now. But it's like you do kind of have to plan more so than I am inclined to in general. And again, it's just also odd because I generally don't. If I have like a troop of 4, I'll generally try and make them all different for the most part. Although sometimes I don't do that as well. What I'll maybe do a lot of times, I did this with some of Rum and Bones, but then we kind of abandoned that, and I think I'm going to abandon that from now on as well. When I paint the rest of Rum and Bones, originally it's like there's 8 of each like troop in Rum and Bones, 8 of each sculpt, and so what I would do is do 4 of them one way and then 4 of them another way. So they were different, but they weren't. It makes batch painting easier when you're painting them all the same. Because you just kind of pick one up and go and boop, do this. Pick up, go, boop, and do this, But, it... So these little panels, I think I'll make green. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to do that. Might paint these back over with silver. We'll see.
Nice thing is you can always change your mind later and paint right over that bad thing.
Sure can. If you paint over enough, you can start losing some detail, but it takes a little while to do that. Well. What shall we talk about today, Mikey?
Trick-taking games, man.
Ooh, trick-taking games.
Trick-taking games, folks. Yay or nay in general? Sound off. Are you a fan? As a concept, trick-taking, yes or no? If so, what was the first trick-taking game you played?
Good call.
What got you in?
Used to not be a fan. And really up until recently, I mean, honestly, not that like this being in Europe kind of changed my mind on it. I knew I liked certain trick-taking games, but like, I think I'm finding that like I really, really like trick-taking games, which was before I was just kind of like, oh no, like it's only a couple that I really, really like.
So now you're more a fan of the mechanic as a...
Yes, I am. It was, before it was much more of like a niche thing, or like there's a couple trick-taking games that I enjoy, but for the most part, the concept as a whole is not really my jam, because it just takes so much, like, it's a mechanic that you get good at, whereas a lot of mechanics as a whole in board games aren't that way. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say you get better at deck builders, because every deck builder is so different. You know what I mean? Point. And so where it's same like worker placement games, like, oh, you get better at worker placement games. It's like, but not really, because if you're playing like Feast for Odin or Viticulture, they're nowhere near similar games, despite the fact that they have the same mechanic. So it's hard to get like good at that mechanic. Whereas trick-taking games, you do just get better at the mechanic as a whole. And that, I think, made trick-taking games very intimidating for me.
Sure.
Because it's not like I can start a new worker placement game and I'm on the same level as everyone else.
Yeah.
Whereas trick-taking, if we're playing a new trick-taking game and you've played way, way more trick-taking games than me, you are going to be at a much higher level than I am going to be, most likely right out the gate.
Sure. Yeah.
And
There's ways to manipulate the cards. There's ways to kind of card count a little bit.
Or just like looking for stuff, looking for information, looking for this, looking for that. And that is tough for new people, know. And I think that's why trick-taking games are so hard for a lot of people to get into.
Yeah. Interesting. Quicksand says, nay to trick-taking, but mostly because I'm so bad at them. Miramax says, that's one of my least favorite mechanisms. A lot of people played spades. I started off playing spades. We played a ton of that. Spades and hearts. Yeah, I've never really played hearts. I played on the computer back in the day when I did not understand what it was at all.
See, I played more hearts than anything else of like standard trick-taking games.
Yeah, right on. Vidger says, haggis is one of my favorites. Well, you can eat whatever you want, but we're talking about trick-taking games.
Oh, nailed it. Burn.
Silver says, Pepper and a Black Euchre, or Buck Euchre, rather, excuse me, were my first being here in the Midwest. Probably why trick-taking games beyond a standard deck of cards do not appeal to me usually. Interesting.
See, I find the ones with standard deck of cards incredibly boring.
I don't know. I love spades.
I only like trick-taking games that have something else to them. Like Indulgence, the trick-taking is always changing. Like
what you're going for.
Fox in the Forest, you have different cards that give you like certain powers. Like that kind of thing is what makes interesting. Like straight hearts, straight spades, I find incredibly boring.
Interesting. But just says, I would disagree on the worker placement stuff. The overwhelming majority of use the overwhelming majority use very similar concepts. Worker placement,
I guess, but like,
would you say?
I don't know. I don't
like you could
agree.
get good at worker placement as a result. Maybe you can like identify which spaces are more valuable quicker.
Maybe that's what it is. Like having, but I don't think like playing more worker placement necessarily makes you better at the mechanic as a whole. Because again, they're all so
it's just
different.
Like it's just does,
like I mean, I guess
you
you
Mikey
probably...
with that spelling. I kind of like that.
Hmm.
I said Mikey with that.
Mikey.
I kind of into that.
I mean, I guess you could pick it up quicker, but
you can probably find the patterns you need to, like, a lot of worker placement games are kind of like you need to go to A to B to C to D, like viticulture, so maybe you can like pick up that pattern quicker.
Yeah, but so many aren't that way. Like Feast for Odin isn't A to B to B to C to D, it's like it's just a free for all.
But it could be because it depends, right? That one's hard because there's so many spaces, but it's like I'm gonna get this to get flax, so I can get this over here to use that flax to get this horse, and I'm gonna get the horse to go over there. Like,
I guess I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel the same.
So it's not. It's but I think people probably, again, smarter people than us, Nick.
That's true. That's
probably what
people just go like, oh yeah, I can figure this out now.
Yeah.
No, to me it feels different, but I do see where you're coming from, Vidger.
Yeah, it's interesting. But trick taking is I think even more than a lot of mechanics. It's just so. It's about communication and manipulation of the cards and stuff, and manipulation of your opponent, and figuring out it's this whole mental side of things, which is what makes it very intriguing for me, and why I think it can be frustrating for people. Especially if you're playing against someone who's not going to like take it easy on you or try to impart that knowledge. That's something that I appreciated when I first started learning how to play spades. Is it's a team game, right? You're playing on teams of two.
Yes.
And we would kind of talk about afterward, like, oh, I was trying to say this by playing this card.
Yeah.
I played the 7 of clubs, so you realize, like, oh, that dude must have the 12 or something, like.
Yeah. There's so much
different ways
hidden information.
That you can communicate, and so, that was cool to be able to like have that knowledge shared, and I felt like, ooh, I can start to like enjoy. I can start to enjoy like learning how to communicate and trying things and stuff, and so like that I think made it a really like nice fun experience for me, one that I wanted to do again.
Yeah.
So that's just
that thing is like as Victor said, it's all about communicating by not communicating. It's like so much of it's like I played this, which means this.
It's very much about like what you play, but it's very much about what you didn't play.
Yeah, and I think that is what makes it so hard for new people. It's like that is a very difficult concept, I think, for a lot of people to wrap
It's a tricky one because if someone's new, they're going to play something and they don't realize they're telegraphing stuff or whatever. And people are like, I would do this with you routinely in Fox in the Forest, is I would like play a couple things, win a couple tricks, and then just start dumping immediately and like force you to take all the rest, and I would get control.
Yeah.
And, like, that can be kind of punishing, especially Fox Force is tricky because it's a one-on-one situation, which, like, obviously most trick-taking are not two-player, but, you know.
But it doesn't make a difference, in the end.
Yeah,
it's all the same stuff.
It's, it's tricksy, man. It's tricksy rabbits.
Alrighty. So now that I know what I'm doing here, I'm going a little quicker on this. Played lots of Whist back in college. I never played Whist, but I've always heard good things.
Whist?
And so now it's been a couple years. My group played Tishu a bunch for a while.
Right on.
Makes sense. I might be good at trick-taking games. Still up in the air. If I win against Quicksand for once, then I'm good at it. That's fair. Yeah, but that's one of the reasons why I like the crew so much, because it's co-op. So like it like a lot of games are this way. It's like it sucks when you just suck, and it's like, and a lot of people, not that many people, but a decent amount of people aren't going to go out of their way to help you because you're the enemy. You are they're competing against you. And again, I personally always try and help people when they're playing the game for the first time or whatever, because I'm like, I just don't care about winning. But it's like in a co-op game, that's why I think co-op games in general are the best gateway games, because no one has to feel weird about asking what to do, and no one has to feel weird about giving out advice about what to do. Now, again, you can just then alpha game the entire thing and play their game for them, which you should never ever do. But like, that's why like my go-to gateway game for the most part has always been Pandemic, because it's a very relevant theme now, but it's like nonetheless it's a theme that everyone can get behind. You're trying to save the world, it's like, all right, trying to save the world from these diseases, go. We're all on the same team. If I'm the person running the game, I never tell people what they need to do. I'll just give them suggestions on what they could do, and then I just let them choose, and if they mess something up, like whatever, it's not a big deal. But it's like, that's why I think the crew is so nice for trick-taking games, because it's a pretty advanced trick-taking game. Like, you really do need to, like...
You need to understand what
people are
is.
saying, yes.
Like, I appreciate in the game that they say, like, this is what trick-taking is. I'm like, you probably should not start by playing the crew.
Yes.
Because it gets weird.
It does get weird. But nonetheless, because it's a co-op thing, I think it's easier to get into, because you can really just, as long as you're patient, you can take a group and be like, okay, so this is what we're doing. This is why you might give this kind of information, because you can give information about what you have in your hands generally once per game. And you can really kind of explain that in a co-op way, being like, because we're all working together and we're all trying and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
and I think it's much easier. And that's one of the reasons why I like the crew a lot. It's very fun to work together, especially in trick-taking, which tends to not be co-op. But it works very well.
Well, it's really cool because, like, and granted, I know this kind of invalidates some of them. We usually wouldn't win when we do this. We'd play a card and realize, like, oh, no, they shared this information. Hello. And then be like, oh, yeah, they take it back. And the nice thing about that is we all get to... Nah.
Yes, we cheat. Straight up cheat all the time in the crew. That's okay, because it's our game. We can just...
The thing I'd say, no, but the reason I don't mind is because, like, we would cheat and, like, take something back and go again, and we would still lose anyway. So I'm like,
yes,
well, it's not like...
True.
Like, I really don't think we have many asterisk victories.
Because,
no,
not too many.
Usually we'd not succeed anyhow.
And even then, it's our
but
game.
The idea is you can be like, hey, remember this thing? And it's just, again, it's a way to help learn and get better, share that information. It was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They played that. What do you think that means? Remember that?
What do you think that means? What am I actually trying to say here?
It's probably important.
All right.
I want to get excommunicado from this.
Excommunicado. John Wick 3, great movie. John Wick 2, great movie. John Wick 1, pretty good movie.
It's fine. I watched it, established it, moving on.
Moving on to John Wick 2.
But John Wick 2, though,
is a banger.
Straight fuego, baby.
But yeah, trick-taking games here. We played Niet as well while we were in the UK, and Niet was wild. Man, oh man, that's an advanced trick-taking game. That's a game where, man, you need to know what you're trying to do.
Then you're vying for, like,
because you're choosing to change the game.
Yeah, you're choosing, like, I want the Trump suit to be blue, and then someone else puts their marker on blue, and you're like, well, it's gonna be green. You're like, well, that sucks.
I gotta make this work.
Then it's like, what the tricks are worth, or 2 points, or negative, or positive, or 0 and stuff. And so it's like, I'm going to make it, I have a horrible hand now because they took all these things, so I'm going to make it so that the score is going to be negative. I'm going to try to lose all my tricks. So these people lose it. Like, it's fast. It's really fun. It's kind of 2 parts. You do all of this sort of jockeying for what's going to be, what the cards are going to mean and what's going to score, and then you do the trick taking is phase 2. Very fun. Really cool game.
Slivery said, morning with bros. Is that greater than morning without bros? I hope that's what that means, because I agree. Thank you. Zen said, I had a question about headphones. We're obviously doing a ton of video conferencing meetings, and I think I need to upgrade my headphones. Anyone have any recommendations? We just got some, like, earmuff headphones off Amazon for, like, pretty cheap. And they're pretty darn good. I don't know what they are, though.
They work well for us. They are... I'm going to do like this. Oh, this is going to be my red. This is the red. It's pretty holly jolly Santa Claus right now, but it's going to get weathered out.
Yes.
And I'm going to have all this other stuff be other things.
Sure.
I'm into that. Now on to the second mech, now that I know what I'm doing.
All right. I'm on 4th. Well, I have more big, broad areas that I'm painting in, though, as well.
Eliana says, I really like trick-taking games, but I think the group matters a lot. Had a weird experience many years ago with a super euchre enthusiast trying to teach us newbies to play. He wanted us to read his mind because he knew what hands were good.
Yeah. That's any game, though, I feel like. You know, it's like, you have people who, they're like, oh, you should have done this, because I've played brass a billion times. And I'm like, oh,
like, well,
cool.
I didn't, though. And you stole my beer and made me feel bad and dumb.
Yeah, that's, it's one of those things, like, being a board game, we can kind of talk about this as well, which is kind of an interesting topic of, like, how to be enthusiastic about board games without being too enthusiastic about board games, because as board gamers, all we want is for the people close to us to share in our love of this hobby, you know. And a lot of people, like with their spouses, you know, their husbands or their wives or something like that, or their brothers or sisters or whatever, they just like try and push them way too hard to like board games or play board games with them, and it just or kids too is the same way, you know, and it just immediately turns them off. So like, where's the line? Like, that guy is like so into this game, you know, and like, where's the line?
Where is the line?
To be enthusiastic and try to get someone you care about, whether it's some rando, you know, at some game store who's down to play some games, or, you know, again, like your spouse or something like that, or a kid or whatever. Like, where's the line that you kind of try and get them to play, and then where do you kind of lay off? Yeah, because like my ex-girlfriend hated games more than anything in the world. Hated board games.
She was not a fan.
So I never tried to get her to play board games. The only time I ever made her play a board game was on my birthday. I was like, it's my birthday, I want you to play a game with us. And she did, and she hated every second of it and complained about it profusely.
She was mad vocal about it. I was like, yeah, you're cool.
Long time after that, we're not together anymore. It makes sense.
Shocker.
But nonetheless, that was the only time I like forced her to play a game. I was like, it's my birthday, I'm sorry, this is my birthday present. You're playing a game with me.
Yeah, it's okay to ask for what you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally cool.
But like, where's the line, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's just some folks are not going to be into it, you know, and that's all right. They're obviously dead wrong, but it's all right.
People talking about
we're getting some sweet headphone recommendations going.
Bishop makes a good point. He says Nick has literally thousands of hours more painting practice than you. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm going a little quicker, but that's because I've painted for hundreds.
I get tired and have to like kind of take a break once in a while. I'm like,
yeah, you get used to it.
But Nick just be painting. Nick will paint for hours. You know.
Yeah.
And there's an endurance level I think that gets built up where I just don't have that. To take breaks every 3 minutes.
Visitor says, it's frustrating for me. My bro will take over my teach of the game, and then I'll spend twice as long fixing misconceptions. That is very frustrating. Yes.
That is not ideal. Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, that's no fun at all. I don't like that at all.
What he meant to say was this actual rule.
Yeah, you're like, no. That's not right. This is right.
Yeah, and it's like it's one thing if this person is teaching the game and you know some things are wrong or whatever, but if you're like setting out to teach and then they take over, then mess it up, I could see the frustration there. Be like, you didn't have to start talking at all.
I have to keep myself from taking over a teach sometimes because I think it's because like we're always the ones teaching for the most part. If someone else is teaching a game that I know, a lot of times I'll start chiming in with rules, and I'm like, this isn't cool. Let this other person teach. This is their teaching right now. And I've had to just remind
I do that
them
too sometimes. Yeah.
I have a tendency to do that. So just something to be wary of, people. It's more of not explaining things clearly. All right.
Well, then do you give him a noogie?
Yeah, you freaking pants him or what?
Yeah. Let's flex on that dude.
Flex on him, dude.
Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? You want a fist fight right now?
Alrighty, so
bros can fist fight each other at any time. It's totally fine. It's totally valid.
Yeah, brothers are allowed to do that.
Totally valid form of communication.
Alright, so now I'm almost done with the green. I am hoping that the wash will darken it down. This green ended up being, when I put it on here, lighter than I was expecting.
It's pretty close, but it is a bit lighter.
It's pretty close. It's definitely lighter though, and I'm not gonna put on 2 coats because I just don't care that much.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting. It came out a little lighter than I was expecting. But the weathering on these guys, I think, is going to take a little while. So, and also right now I got to go in with silver now, which will be a much slower process because this first green, I'm just kind of like slapping it on, not really caring because I'm like, well, I'm just going to go over all these other parts with silver. But now once I do the silver, I actually have to be careful because I don't want to go over things I went over with green because then I'll just have to go over it again. So,
fair enough. Now, question.
Yeah, man.
We're making these mechs fairly uniform, correct?
Yes.
Now, with the weathering effects, are you going to make those uniform?
No. Weathering
so
effects is
weather
where you want the
differently.
variance. Yes.
Cool.
That's where you want the variance.
That seems like it would be very hard to match.
It would be arguably impossible.
No,
please open. Please open. This is open. I hope this isn't open. It is. I think we're fine.
Do.
What is this? Sorry, I have this. That's better. Okay. This lead belcher is done. Let's just do it this way.
No, it's not done, man.
I have another one.
Not done, man.
So what I'm going to do, Mike, is we're going to put lead belcher on, which is our darker of the 2 silvers that we have. That way you can like kind of do a bit of highlighting, and also you can like scratch up even the metal with the lighter silver, and it'll make it look cool.
Michael,
so people end up asking more questions when my brother teaches. Yeah, I said I'm pretty nonviolent. I beg the differ. I've seen you punch many people in the face.
I've seen you absolutely suplex Jason. So whatever that's worth.
But yeah,
to be fair, you had to come in.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. My brother gets roped into playing games frequently because my sister-in-law likes to come over and play games with me. So when he is over, I try and pick games that he's liked or will like. And for someone who does not really like games, he's really good at them. That's good, at least.
That's interesting. That like, it's not going to be everyone's thing. Like to me, I'm like, if there's something I'm good at, I'm gonna lean into that thing.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. Someone's like, I don't really like these, but they crush, and they're just like, I'm done. And I'm like, well, aren't you? Don't you get a nice hit of joy from that? Don't you want more of that right there?
Guess not. Yeah, that's interesting. I probably would be too. I'm like, I'm good at this. There's definitely things. I mean, heck, now I enjoy doing art, but for many years I just did art because I was good at it. Like I didn't actually enjoy doing it for a very long time.
It did take you a while to find your joy.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, I'm good at this, so I guess I'll keep doing it. You know, you kind of put on that self-obligation to do stuff, which I'm glad I did ultimately because, like, it meant that...
It helped you find your artistic voice.
Yeah, and continued gaining skills, and then it ended up working out. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird concept. All right, so now I'm just painting on the silver and all the spots.
Would you say painting minis is your main art form now?
Yeah.
It's one you practice in the most.
Yeah.
And you indulge yourself in.
And I tend to go through phases with art where like I will do one thing a ton and then kind of move on to something else, and then I'll come back to that thing. For a pretty long stretch now, I've been very into mini painting. A lot of that is because cool. I paint my roommate David's minis. He keeps my rent sheet if I paint his minis, so I do have a bit of an obligation to paint his stuff, so I have been doing it more. And then I've been actually working on like digital drawing more because I wanted to practice in that. But I mean, like the last drawing I did, physical drawing I did, was my Wakanda Forever piece, and that was in November of 2018.
Oh wow.
So it's been a long time since I've done a drawing.
Yeah. That's cool though. I mean, it's fun to like explore stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's good. It's both good and bad. I do wish I was doing more drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just for whatever reason, I just haven't had the motivation. And I learned a long time ago with just anything, not even with just art. It's like if I don't have the motivation, like as long as I have motivation to do other stuff, do that. Like I don't allow myself to just like sit and do nothing. Like if I have no motivation, like I do not give into the concept of like waiting to be inspired. I think that's a fake concept. I think there's a lot of being creative. There's a lot of life even that's just like get up and go. Like you got to get up and do it. And art, I think, is the same way. I think there's a lot of people who do art who like sit around and wait to be inspired. And I very firmly, at least for me, disagree with that concept as a whole. I think there's a lot of creativity.
There's a lot of that whole, like, you can't schedule creativity, but there's, like, a lot of science and stuff to prove, like, yes, you can.
Yeah, you sure can. And
if every 8 a.m. you write, you will get very good at writing at 8 a.m.
Yes.
You will just have thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, exactly. You can't schedule creativity. I think you can't schedule, breakthroughs. I think you can schedule creativity.
Yeah.
Because, like, you may be being creative, but maybe you're just kind of doing the norm. You know, you're not necessarily having any kind of breakthrough, any kind of big strides, but you're just doing the norm. But, like, you can schedule that. Like, I think it's a very... Again, this is only for me, and maybe you all disagree, and that's totally fine. But, like, I firmly disagree with the concept of waiting to be inspired by something. And so... I won't ever allow myself to not do anything creative, but like if for whatever reason my creative styling is in mini painting over drawing, I'll do that. You know,
that's awesome.
It's just
that's
like,
good for you to be able to listen to, like what's fueling you right now, like what's exciting, what's fun to do. Painting minis, okay, that's totally valid. Like there's no like, I think it's a healthy thing to remove the idea for yourself of like, oh, this is art and that's just this.
No,
like,
that's silly.
It's just like whatever I'm into in the moment. It's like how I'm expressing myself.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I actually lied there. I forgot the last piece I drew was not Wakanda Forever. It was the Fireball Island piece, and I think that's why I haven't drawn a while, because that was such a challenge for me, because it was so. Everything about the Fireball Island piece I did was something I've never done before, like literally everything, and that took me months and months and months of my drawing creative juices that I think I've had to take a pretty prolonged break from drawing, which is too bad, but that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Although now that I printed out my marker cases, I've been really wanting to draw again, so we'll see. I was planning on this quarantine being, I was like, oh, now I can finally get some work done. So maybe we'll do that as well. But yeah.
Why not, man? Why the heck not?
Vision said, I'm trying to get some math curriculum work done, but my brain body keeps saying, nah, it's hard at home. That's why, like, at home for me, like, I have to be in full clothes because I won't work otherwise. You gotta, for me, working from home is like a nightmare. Like, I always want to be able to go to work, which is why I'm glad that the studio is not at my place, because I feel like you don't struggle with that quite as much as I do, Mikey. Is that true, you think?
I don't think it bugs me as much, but I do like that we have a door on the studio, and we shut the door, and work can go away.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind that I don't have to drive to work. I've spent a long time in LA, like in just traffic going to work and stuff. So I'm like, I don't mind the fact that I'm already here.
Yeah.
You know?
See, to me, I feel like I would rather drive an hour than work from home.
That's extreme. But
I mean, I'd rather drive 15 minutes. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose, like, work from home or drive an hour, I'd rather drive an hour.
But the thing is like, you know, like we will, hopefully, if life goes, you know, well in this career we're building, we'll probably outgrow this place eventually.
Yeah.
Right? And it will be awesome to move work out of the house and be able to go to work. Like, I'm definitely into that idea. I just wouldn't want it to be an hour.
No. Yeah, totally. Me neither.
You know, but that would be really cool. And if nothing else, like a really maybe ideal situation would be like we have a house on a bit of land or something, and we have like a separate building, like a garage.
Yeah.
Or something, but it's like nice and finished and stuff and insulated and temperature controlled and all that. And it's just a nice big space that is completely controlled and set up for work. Like we have a permanent green screen wall or something. That's where we stream from, blah, blah, blah. All these things. And then I get to, even if it's on the same property, I get to leave the house and
it's
walk.
a 30-second walk,
over to work.
For sure.
That would be amazing.
Yes,
that would be very cool. That would be very cool for me. I'd like that. So, hey, maybe someday. Why not?
Someday, man. Someday. I mean, owning property in LA is a hilarious concept, but, you know.
Yeah. That's it. Maybe someday.
Someday.
If we end up living, you know, maybe we'll move out of SoCal someday. Who knows? We'll see. Don't know where life will take us.
Yeah.
But if ever there is the opportunity to have land in a garage or something, it'd be pretty cool. That's all.
Totally. It'd be huge. Yeah, that's the thing for me. It's like, it's the reason why, like, I can't even read at home. Like, I have to leave to go read. Like,
that's extreme.
I know. I'm fully aware that I am ridiculous in my weird thing about this, but like, I've always been that way. Ever since I was like 16, working back at Nugget, you know, it's like I've always had to leave at lunch. I don't know. Yeah, I have this weird thing about it.
Well, you'd like to get on your own. Like, you like to get off.
Yeah, like I need a lot of alone time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's
like preferably like at least 1 or 2 days a week. Like, more or less completely on my own is ideal for me. And again, not everyone is like that, but
yeah. Ain't no right or wrong about it. Just
like for ideal for me would be like if I could. I mean, so I can't imagine this will ever happen in LA. At least not anytime soon. I would love to be able to get like a 2-bedroom on my own, and then have 1 bedroom be
like art space.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, like I could have my
that'd be awesome.
art table in there. Could have a mini painting table in there, and then just because my thing is like I always have to do it in my room, and I always have had to do it in my room. But as much as I really hate working from home, I really hate working in my room. It really bothers me to work in my room. But
tell you should mini paint out on that porch, dude.
My paints will dry out too quick.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Santa Clarita summer. Good point. Just instantly dry out.
Yeah. If I did like stand up, if I did like oil paintings with it, I could definitely do that, and wood too. I would definitely do that. Because that's a great place to. Because we do have a nice little patio at my place.
Oh man, it'd be so nice out in the air and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I guess the oil paints you don't have to worry about it drying out too.
Not nearly as much. I mean, it still would dry out.
Might be ideal.
Yeah, I know, right? I agree. Inspiration is great, but can't wait for it. Got to do something. Of course, yeah. There's a lot of inspiration that's forced. I really fervently believe in that. We played Quad Heroes a few weeks ago. He won, but didn't like the game because there was too much going on, which is true to be fair. Talking about Quicksand's friend, who doesn't like games but is good at them. I still want to play Quad Heroes. It just looks so weird.
Whole tumbling and doing stuff, and what face is showing up and jumping around. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so much stuff.
What you talking about?
What you talking about, man? Somebody said, so ideal for you two would be to work away from the house, but in a location of your choosing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Like, literally, if we could rent, like, that apartment and have that be the studio, it'd be perfect. Because boop, right over, you know, or whatever. It's just like, yeah.
Oh, like across the
Yeah, for me, like, if I could be, like, a 5-minute drive for my work, perfect. Because I don't want to drive far, but I do want to travel to work. even if it's like literally around the block.
Yeah.
Because then to me, it feels
like what Lincoln has is pretty cool because it's in a separate building.
Yes, that is that would be
garage.
Cool.
Like that is exactly what I'm talking about. Like because you walk out and you go into your house, and granted they work in their house, they have their computers and stuff. But like we would probably just build whatever any and all work stuff we need would be in that room, that garage. You know, maybe we'd have actually a couple rooms in the garage so you can have an editing thing and people can be filming the other thing and blah blah blah.
Which they technically do have.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like that would be so sick.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah, it's just keeping work and home life is a really, really big deal for me. To the point where, like, that's why I want to travel to work. Because I don't even like living in the same general area that I work. It's the reason why when I go back... Because I have a hard time separating work from home life. So it's like to this day, when I go back to Woodland Hills, which is where I used to work for like 6 years, I cannot feel like the second I drive into that city, I feel like I'm working again. Because it's just for me,
forever. That's all you would be doing in that area.
Yeah, true. It's like whenever you go to Lincoln's, which is in that area, I always feel like I'm working. That's like funny. I just immediately start looking out for clients and stuff like that. My clients haven't been there for a couple of years, and it's like I start looking out for clients, trying to figure out like. You know, I go on autopilot to the house I used to work at all the time when I'm in Woodland Hills. And so for me, that's why, like, to me, it's like I want to travel. I want it to not be, because it's like, it's the same reason why here, it's like I have such a hard time getting out of work mode because this is where I work, you know? And so it's like, it's just one of those things where I think it's because we're both tend to be pretty hard workers that it's important for me to keep them separate, or else I'll kind of never get out of that work mode, which is not healthy at all. And so I'm like, hey, you should not be in this mode right now. You can relax a bit.
Well, like one thing, it's you know, I talk to Karen a lot about that because like I do work from home, and it's we do work really hard. We work a lot of hours, and so it's the thing of like, when is it enough for the day? Shut it down, because there is no boss to say like go home.
Yeah, right. There's no clock.
There's no clock, right? So we created one. Like I try really hard. It's like, and we work early. We work, you know, 10, 12-hour days as a fairly routine practice.
We never work less than 10, really.
But it's like, okay, well, when we finish streaming at night, we're done. At 8 o'clock, it's over. And there is no more work. And... You know, I like doing stuff like that because then it also puts a pressure on, like, well, if you're working during the day, it's like, be about it. Be focused. Get it done.
Yeah, don't mess around,
You know, and I've been trying to be better about that. It's like, if I don't have any work I need to be doing, just stop. Don't do anything. Don't try to find something to do.
Yeah.
You know, you can channel that energy into, like, a hobby. Like, you can paint art.
Because I am someone who always has to be doing something.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like you find it and channel it into hobbies, which is like, well, that's fantastic. That's a healthy thing. That's something that like feeds your soul, you know, and it's interesting to you and all that, and like that's awesome, man. Like that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We all seek out, right? We're all seeking out hobbies. We're all looking for something to do. We all like to be doing things.
So yeah, having a studio shed deal would be sweet. Yeah, if we can make sure that shed is like air conditioned. That's one of the main things. Yeah. A lot of times garages and stuff aren't.
Well, it's something I would do. Like, I would literally hire Pop immediately and be like, come finish this garage. Like, I want it to be legit. I want it to have all the comforts of proper indoor living and stuff, and have insulation and all that, so that we can, like, actually operate in here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and do it right. Then that'd be so freaking rad.
Yeah, that'd be metal. Speaking of metal, this guy's done, at least for the base coat. Now, again, all this stuff, the metal is very shiny. All this will get darkened down quite a bit with the wash, which, again, I'll probably do a mix of, for the metal, I'll probably do a mix of brown and black, because I want it to get darkened down significantly. And then for the green, I'll probably do a mix of green and brown, rather, to give it a grungy, but I still want it to be kind of green look. So that's what these guys are going to look like. I'll try and finish. Oh, really, we're only an hour in. It feels like it's been longer, but I guess it hasn't. And so, yeah. So they're going good. How you going? Oh, now you're speeding up. The first one's always a lot longer.
Yeah. Now that I kind of have my template, it's getting quicker.
Yeah. Nick, you're like me, an extroverted introvert. Exactly. That's how I've always referred to myself. An extroverted
ambivert.
Yeah. Extroverted introvert, or as I like often say, I'll say a high energy introvert.
I like that.
because I am not that extroverted. I'm very, very shy. Both of us are for the most part, and especially in social situations. I actually am really, really shy, but I have a lot of energy and I'm really loud. And so, like, it's a weird combination being like an extrovert introvert, or what I usually say is a high energy introvert. Because you see me at like cons and stuff like that, and it's like you would never guess that like we're both pretty shy people, but it is true. I've been working from home for 2 years-ish as Quicksand. I feel like after a while, it's much easier to put work down and not just think about it until it's time to work the next day. But that might be harder with more creative jobs like creating content. I would say probably, but I would say it probably has gotten easier. Yeah. Because we've been in this apartment now for a year.
Yeah.
So it's like it has gotten easier.
It certainly has, but it's just been growing pains. It's like this whole concept of like this is what we do now for a living is very new.
Yes,
because that wasn't even. We've been in this place for a year, but we haven't been doing full time board game stuff for a year.
No,
so it's like it's just an adjustment, right? And I think it's getting easier, and it probably will continue to get easier. Okay. It's just like, well, yeah, work's done. I'm done.
Yeah, and also like, and Quicksand, I don't know what kind of job you do, but like. I think for a creative job, it's also hard because we don't have like a set, like we need to get this much work done kind of thing. Like for us, because it's like it's kind of up to us, like how many videos come out on our channel. So it's like we could work way less by like just having less videos come out on our channel, or like not work with BGG, or whatever the things we do, not streaming with GenCon, that kind of stuff. So it's like it's also kind of hard because it's hard to visualize like
what's the work day,
what's the work done? Yeah, like what do we need to get done? Like if we want this video to come out in 2 weeks, do we need to do it now, or should we wait later? Do we have a shorter day now knowing that we can do it later, or should we do it? It's like it's way harder to I guess visualize or just put on a paper like this is what we need to do today. And I
think when we're being the best at this is when we do get a schedule going. And
yes,
like, this is what we need to do. This is when things are coming out, and knowing ahead of time like this is coming out, so we can.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the time we're best is when we are under the gun. When we're like, oh, we're going to a convention for a week, we need to front load all this stuff, because then we have a very, very set. We need to get this is done because we're going to be gone next week. Then we tend to work really, really well and really, really hard. Not that we don't work hard all the time, we do. But like when it's kind of like
efficiently.
Like right now we're on quarantine and there's not necessarily anything that we need to be doing, and it's hard. This personally for me, it's harder for me to work.
Oh yeah.
Like we not necessarily need to be working as hard as we were right before we left for Europe, but like we always should be working at a good clip, And it's like sometimes when there's not, it's hard to visualize exactly what needs to be done. It's hard to not rest on your laurels, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's it can be tricky, and it's like for me it's motivating to work quickly because then you're done, and like maybe that's what it is figuring out that schedule stuff. And it's like, okay, if we need to get da and done this week, and maybe we can work on the first part of this thing for next week, and it's like get it done quick, and then just like relax, take the rest of the week off, do those hobby things, or whatever it might be. And so I think that's what it is. Just comes down to organization, right?
Well, yeah. And one thing I think we are both very good at is we take weekends. We do not work on the weekends. We might like play against the patrons or like do something like that. But like do a little admin stuff, responding to an email or two. But we do not work the weekends. We don't. I'm not here. If we have stuff, we got to do something for BGG or for ourselves. We go, okay, cool. We'll do it on Monday. It's like it's not a question. It's not negotiable for us or anyone. It's like, nope, we don't do stuff on the weekends. We don't work the weekends. We take our own weekends. And on the weekends, I'm usually painting or drawing for like 8 hours. Yeah. But that's something I'm choosing to do,
That's all. That's 100% your thing that you want to do, right? And that's awesome. Somebody says, I extrovert in situations / groups I'm comfortable with and in my zone. Same.
Yeah, of course.
Once I get comfortable, which is fairly easy for me to do.
Yes.
And like for me, at any board game, anything... Other than, like, if I went to some random person's meetup, then I'd get very shy, probably.
Yeah.
But any convention stuff, like, I'm very comfortable because it's around people. I'm going to see people that I know. I'm going to see Zen. I'm going to see you, Slivers. I'm going to see people. And I'm like, okay, like, you are our people. So I get very comfortable very quick. And it allows me to kind of be like, the only time I get, like, shy and stuff is if I'm in a completely foreign situation. I don't know anybody. I'm not gonna just be like
Hey,
Mr.
guys.
Personality guy.
Yeah,
I'm
or
gonna,
like walk up to a random group of people and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like I cannot do that. Like that's like my worst fear is having to walk. One thing, like even like with board games, like one thing that I can't do. I mean, if I do it, I have to really like work up my courage to do it. Is like some people just walk up and be like, "Hey, room for one more." Like I can't do that. Like
Yet.
Absolutely, I can if I work myself up to it, but I literally have to like stand to the side and go like, and like build myself up to do it. Like it's because I get very, very shy in those kind of situations. Like I don't know, it's one of those things where it's so difficult for me. So even in a situation I'm comfortable with in like board game stuff, if I'm not like directly around people that I know like that, I will I really struggle. But that's one of the reasons why it's nice to be, I don't want to say moguls, but no, it's nice to be like a board game personality because I can kind of, it's kind of like that scene of Big Daddy where the kid puts on sunglasses and he kind of pretends he's invisible and now he can talk like in court and stuff like that or whatever. It's like the same way. It's like I can hide behind the mantle of being Nick Murphy of the Brothers Murph, I guess. You know, it's like that's just me, but it's like I could be like, oh no, I can like think of it in my mind as like I'm playing a character, even though I'm not, because the character is just myself. But like I can think of it that way, and it makes it so I'm like, oh, I'm not me, I'm that guy from the Brothers Murph, and that way it's way easier for me to be like really extroverted at something like a convention, because to me I'm not in my own head to keep me being, you know, sociable and stuff like that. In my head, I'm not being me. I'm playing a character.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Even though that character is myself, and I'm not actually acting any differently than I would be.
Putting on a particular energy that you could do. So it's not you, but it's a version of you.
But in my head, it's not me.
It's fun, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it's fun, Nick. It's like. It's Nick again. I would say it's Nick of the Brothers Murph, not Nick, just Nick.
So what Nick is saying is that you have never met him.
You've never met me. That's the thing. Even right now, you're not meeting me.
Not even meeting him.
Y'all haven't had the privilege to meet Nick. I'm very weird, and
I think people have gotten that sense. I think you don't realize.
Well, the problem is Nick Murphy, the Brothers Murph.
I think you're thinking that you like when you're Nick of the Brothers Murph that you're Stefan instead of Urkel, but you're still pretty Urkel.
Yeah, still pretty damn Urkel.
Like it's not as like smooth as you think. I mean, it's definitely the best version. Like here's the thing, we're all here for Urkel.
That's right.
I'm saying this in a complimentary way. You understand?
Yes.
Zen says, "Is it easy to talk to the camera then, since you're not actually talking or looking at someone?"
Yes.
Yeah, I'll look at you in the eyeballs, personally as well. But like, it's also for me. It's not because like the camera thing that helps, but it's also because it's like I know all of you now.
Yeah.
We've been hanging out for a couple of years. Like everyone that's here right now are part of the fam, you know, and like that's super cool. And so that's easier. But I found like when I've done a couple like solo streams, I haven't done a ton, but I've done a few now. And I always get a little bit like, oh, how's this going to go? It's going to be weird. I'm not going to be willing to talk. And that's an area where, like, having that camera and you realize you're just in a room by yourself and you can just sort of ramble on and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's, like, very cool and very freeing. But that's a situation where I'm like, it's just me speaking my thoughts out loud to potentially nobody.
Yep. I mean, really, at least... considering all the people outside can probably hear us when we're talking in here, we are talking to nobody, according to them.
Yeah. They say that's because you are nobody, and I'm like, well, ouch.
Boop boop. But yeah, so for me, the camera, yes, I can talk to the camera, no problem. And like streaming, though being weird, it's like we all know you now, but it's like we can stream on, like we streamed the Dice Tower thing the other day, and like I didn't get nervous at all because the way I think of it, and this is kind of how it is when I'm at conventions talking about, you know, I'm Nick Murphy of the Brothers Murph, not Nick Murphy. It's like I'm comfortable performing. And that's what in my mind, I'm doing. Like, I'm just performing as myself, but at least just making that distinction in my mind makes it so that I can get over being nervous.
Yep.
But it's like, because like when I'm on stage, I'm not nervous at all once we start. And because that because I'm like, oh, because I'm performing at this point. Like, to me, I'm comfortable doing that. So like when I'm streaming, to me, it's a similar feeling as of being on stage. Yeah.
Interesting.
Being in front of the camera is a similar feeling of being on stage. So I don't really get nervous doing it.
Well, and that comes from the fact that we've always looked at this like a show, right? We want to put on a show for people.
Yes.
We want to be entertaining. We want to be funny. We want to be informative. We want to be, caring and all these things. And put on a proper bit of entertainment. So
yeah.
I agree. It's very easy to do. And yeah, I didn't get nervous with the Z thing because I'm like, dude, we're just going to chat with Z, who we know and like.
Yeah. And we'll be fine.
And it's going to be awesome, and we can be funny and stuff. And I'm the same way about shows, and granted, I have like a background in performing, but it's just, it's interesting how nervous, like Matthew Jude will get because he doesn't have that background. And me, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fine. Like I've been through shows, I've done improv and all this stuff. Like this is not gonna this is not gonna end in terror and tragedy.
Yeah,
like, it's gonna be fine. So I'm just sitting back chilling because I'm like, yeah, this is what I do.
Yeah, totally. He said you've also done streaming hundreds of times at this point. True, but like I was always surprised at how not nervous I was even when we first started streaming.
I got nervous early on.
See, I didn't really, and I think it's because to me it felt like the same thing. Like it felt like I was performing.
Yeah. See, at the start it was such a different type of thing. I'd never done that. I was like, oh, what do we do? What do we say? And then that just became easy because it kind of like the cool mask of a performer like settled in because I'm like, oh, like you're just putting on a show. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna do this. Like you went to school for this. Like
this is literally what your degree is in.
Yeah, it's like just be, and then the added thing of like it's been nice to be able to lean in and be able to be more and more of myself.
Yeah,
which is a very I'm a very silly kind of fun, wanting to make the world just laugh and just I like silliness and stuff. And so it's cool to be able to do that and be like, oh, I can be a lot of myself here, and it's just sort of like ticked up a couple notches from what I would normally be doing. But man, there's times like with Karen, it's just like I'm very weird and like wacky and stuff on my day to day as well. So it's like it's funny realizing like, oh, you can be yourself so much here because people like you, they want you to be you and they like you for who you are and what you are. And so it's a whole like I can be Mike Murphy, the Brothers Murph, but I often feel like I have such a good time at conventions because I feel like I get to indulge in like the sillier part of myself. Yeah. Which is a very real part of me. It's not an act or anything like that. And I can be silly. It just comes off in a different way. It's not like, hey, what's up, man? What we do like on the Dice Tower. And I think people who meet us sometimes are surprised. It's like, oh yeah, you're kind of normal. I'm like, yeah. Like we're not like
not actual clowns.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we understand that we're doing a thing, and so it's kind of cool. That's one reason I like conventions is I like to meet people so that they can see like, oh yeah, we're not always that full on. It's a show, and especially with the Dice Tower in particular, it's a particularly amplified version of ourselves.
Yes.
Like that's how we first started doing stuff, and we wanted to kind of make a splash and like lean into the silliness. And then the cool thing is like people watch our channel, like a lot of the stuff is just much more conversational, and we're not like not funny, but we're not like as zany. And so it's just funny to do things like that when they realize your channel, like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Or we do stuff like BGG and they're like, wow, it's kind of nice, and these guys like tone back, and in our head we're like, that's how we
are like 85% of the time.
But if you only ever watch this on the Dice Tower, for example, it's going to paint a specific picture, and I can't blame people for being like, well, that's how they always are, because that's how they've only ever seen us, which is just kind of interesting.
It is interesting,
yeah, it's kind of fascinating, man. The point is y'all make me comfortable and I like hanging out with you, so there. Deal with that.
So it's a very specific form of somewhat intimate entertainment. Talking about streaming, I totally agree. I said it's like it's intimate, but it's also like thousands of people watching. It's like exactly. It is. It's like an intimate, non-intimate form of entertainment.
Yeah, which is like part of why I think it's so cool. Such a cool form of like entertainment and art and stuff is that like you can get to know people, you can talk to people directly. There's that direct interface, and interaction back and forth between people who are watching you, people who are fans or whatever you consider them, and it becomes like this group effort. It really is a conversation. That's how I look at it, which is rad.
Yeah.
You know, and I gravitate towards streams and stuff that have a lot of interaction with the people watching them, because I just like, I'm seeking like a connection. That's what we all, you know, kind of our mission, Nick and I, it's just like, is facilitate connection between people. You know, so it's rootin' tootin' good time, man. I tell you,
It's a rootin' tootin' good time, baby.
All right, man. I've got my Santa Claused.
Are they all done?
Little Scythe people, they are 100% done.
Oh, look at that. They look great. Those look awesome.
They're getting there.
Yeah, dude, that looks great.
So now I don't know what to do.
Well, I would say grab some of that lead belcher and paint everything else.
Everything else?
Yep. Well, it's up to you. You don't have to paint everything else. I'm doing generally one color and then everything else silver. That's how I've done all the rest of the mechs. But you do not have to do that. Yeah, those are your mechs.
Snackle Games up here bringing that Kraken up in here. That's what's up. Slipper says, okay, so I've met you twice, video conference with you, and talked numerous times with both of you. Normal is not a word that jumps to mind describing you. Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely.
Well, there's a third character we both play, which is the Brothers Murph talking to Slivers. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole thing. That's only for you, though. Eliana's going for a walk. Have a good walk. Enjoy it. Revel in the outdoors and breathe in that fresh air. It is very good for you. This has made...
Everyone's walking out and hiking. Everyone's like, yay. Here's my thing. We'll probably go back to right where we were when this whole thing's over. But I gotta hope that some people are going to be like, man,
that was better.
This was great. Like, not doing all this crappy stuff, you know?
Because I think we got 100% Mike in that first Stop Thief game last night. Yeah, me doing,
Mike being Tad Magnum.
Oh.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong.
Tad
we're very
Magnum
weird people. Ask our mother. We're very weird people.
Oh, been weird. Forever weird. Unapologetically.
Forever weird. I wanna be forever.
See, that's how you do it if you're weird. That's how you know you're a weirdo. Merrimack says, I think I speak for everyone. I say we're very glad you're not prop comics. Listen here, I have not ruled out a career in stand-up comedy, and it will be prop comedy.
Yes, it might be the new Carrot Top.
I will be hated by many, as I should be. Prop comics are horrible.
They're not.
It's pretty bad. Carrot Top is a hack. A hack and a half.
Why?
That prop comedy, though.
No, that's silly.
Unforgive. Unforgivable, babe.
All right, then you're not allowed to like magicians anymore. They're prop comedy.
Oh, get out.
Magicians are prop comedy.
Well,
a lot of times they have very funny shows.
It's an elevated art form.
Nope, it's prop comedy. Boom. You're not allowed to like magicians anymore. They're prop comedy.
No magician has a clock on it that just has 15 minutes because your 15 minutes of fame are up. That's different.
No, it's the same thing.
How dare you?
I'm not saying Carrot Top's great. I don't like Carrot Top either.
I love Carrot Top.
I'm just saying that prop comedy is not bad.
CALLATT, dude. Okay.
Dude, that was a good time. Remember Carrot Top was on top of the world?
Yeah. Okay, so I got a question next. So, like, these little things here, I've kind of left this much blank, and I was just going to paint over silver. Are you into that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think everything you left blank, you could just paint silver.
Oh, it's so very scary. This is the lead belcher right here.
Yes, it is.
Now, this is one I will not thin out.
No, the metallics tend to be very thin on their own anyway.
Actually, I can feel it as I'm...
Just wash your brush frequently because it tends to dry quickly on a brush. And metallics really screw up brushes when they just dry on them. It's hard to get it out. So, just wash your brush frequently, please.
Quicksand says, are you still doing board game breakfast things? Yes, in theory.
In theory.
We're going to use this this time that we have to get back doing those regularly. Tom over there just
rightfully
shots fired.
Rightfully called us out.
Rightfully, he's like, hey, what the heck are you going to...
Well, you know, he's not calling out Matthew Jude or anything like that, so maybe it's not so rightfully.
But yes, we are still going to be doing that. We have a butt ton of games.
Yeah, we actually just need to get through them.
Just haven't done it.
Yeah, whenever we don't do one of those, there's really no excuse. They are probably the easiest thing we do in terms of actual execution, because they're just fun and silly and stuff like that, and yeah, we just always have a hard time keeping up on it.
It's so difficult.
It is.
Dude, excuse me for a minute. Oh.
Some of the Witch. So 1 water remains in my local store. Really? Where do you live again, Some of the Witch? That is ridiculous. Don't hoard resources, people. Please. Other people need those, like that guy mowing the lawn. Which you can definitely hear. Alrighty. I'm going to try and... I've got a half hour left. I'm going to try and get a wash on these butts. I'm going to try. Okay. So the metal part's actually going quicker than I was expecting, which is nice. So yeah, so I'm going to finish up the metal in this last mech, and then I'm going to go back to my green and touch up a couple spots. Although I've actually done a pretty darn good job of not smacking anything with the color, with the silver. I haven't smacked much of the green with the silver. But I do kind of want to do a second coat of the green, at least a little bit, to darken it up. Although it's not that different than this. It's a little bit lighter, but it's pretty darn close. I just want a good base coat for when I East Tennessee, and it's LaCroix. Even these different times. I know. I'm so sorry you have to hurt yourself by drinking that LaCroix. I personally love it, but what's wrong with the type of comedy that makes people laugh, Nick? I have no problem with any kind of comedy. That Mike was the one talking crap about prop comedy. There are plenty of magicians who write comedy that are still great. True, but Mike likes a lot of really funny magicians, and therefore he can't say prop comedy is a hack. That's not true. I don't like mimes. That's fair. Oh, oops. I grabbed the wrong brush. Alrighty. Let's get the last one done. Have you thought about doing other types of things for Board Game Breakfast besides Scythe Mechs throwbacks? It seems like other contributors mix things up occasionally. We have thought about it. The reason why we do thrift store throwbacks is a couple of reasons. One, people seem to really like that series. You know, it's kind of like ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Which series are you talking about?
Thrift store throwbacks. Ooh. Quicksand was asking if we've ever thought about doing another segment because some contributors tend to switch it up. Two, we legitimately enjoy doing it. Three, because it's already hard enough for us to do them, and as far as segments go, it's actually one of the easiest segments to do. All we have to do is go to a thrift store every once in a while, buy a bunch of really bad games, essentially, and then record them. And it's pretty easy, whereas we used to do Adventures in Board Gaming for Throat Punch Lunch, and that segment is really hard to do. Like, it's very difficult to like get out, go somewhere, film. It's one of those things where like the thrift store throwbacks is legitimately considering how easy it is. Again, we don't have much of an excuse, but considering how hard it is for us to get Dice Tower segments as it is, we need to make sure we're choosing ones that are as easy as possible. That way, it gives us the best chance of getting them done. Because it's just like the dice. We love the Dice Tower, but they're just not first on our priority list of stuff we have to get done. So it tends to fall by the wayside, unfortunately. But yeah, so we've thought about it, but like we really like doing it. People seem to always really enjoy it. So like, and it's a segment that like has basically endless legs because there's always going to be crappy games at thrift stores.
There's always just a horrible game waiting.
Yeah, so it's like
we've never not found anything.
Yes. Because even when we don't find anything, we make a segment about how we didn't find anything. That's what we did for our last thrift store throwback segment, was us just being like, oh, we couldn't find anything. Well, let's make a joke about that. And then we did, and it worked great, and people really liked it. So we're just like, all right, well, there you go. So it's like, it's really fun.
Yeah, boy. I'm going to get this metal going. Oops, just splattered onto the thing, so that's some weathering already done.
Nah, fool.
Yeah, fool, look at that.
I gotta go touch it up.
No, dude.
You gotta touch it up,
With
dude.
the red?
Yeah, baby.
At the red or the white? But look, it looks so
We gotta.
weird.
Do you want to do true paint chipping or do you want to do easy paint chipping, Mike?
What's
Real
the
question.
difference?
Oh, there's a difference, Mikey.
No.
So true paint chipping, if you want to make it look even better, more realistic, which is something I have not done on any of the other mechs because I didn't really know about this technique, but I was probably gonna do it on this one.
Do you actually chip paint?
No. Although that's a funny idea. You paint black, and then you paint the silver over the black while leaving a little bit of the line of black there. Because almost all paint, Mikey, has some kind of primer down first. So what it does is it makes the weathering stand out more because you're giving everything a black outline, but it also makes more sense in the real world because all of this paint would have some kind of primer on it, so the black is a bit of that primer showing through. Because if you chip off the paint, you're not going to chip off everything perfectly. There's always going to be a little bit of primer showing. Generally, that's how it is when you're chipping paint off of metal.
That does. Yes, you're right. That's very true.
So, depends. If you're going to do the easy stuff,
Easy peasy.
you can just leave it. It doesn't actually matter. I have not done that on any other ones, but I actually probably going to do it on this one. Because I'm curious. I've actually never done it, and I want to try.
Well, that's what we're here for, right? It's exploration. Creative exploration. Can I use some cotton to make a little smokestack coming off of this?
Yeah.
How sick would that be?
Yeah.
So
You
sick.
can get a little cotton ball. You can paint it.
Just like a little wispy cloud.
Probably, yeah.
A little steam coming off that bad boy. Gonna get mech'd. Man, I was just sloppy joeing on this first one.
So we said, oh, bros, when is the HD60S supposed to arrive? Do you know?
I can't remember offhand.
I think this weekend.
this weekend. ¿Por qué?
But we should be able to do a video game stream next week.
Yeah, babe. Do. Just gonna paint over that metal. 'Cause I goofed though. Actually, let me do a couple. Maybe two left.
Alrighty. Alrighty, we're finishing up the silver here. I'm going to go back with the green and touch up some spots. There's certain panels that I want to paint green that I just painted silver because it didn't feel like being neat right now.
Don't gotta be neat right now. Neat right now. Silver says, can't remember. How the heck do people buy new tech stuff and not look 20 times a day at the shipping updates? Because Karen ordered it. I just don't have access to that. I'm just going to zen out on it. You know? But I just can't remember.
And there's also something we ordered that I need for the Copic marker things that I printed out. But that also means that there's going to be a 3D printing video next week as well on Thursday.
Yeah.
As well as a new BGSN. We're finally going to catch up on stuff. Because we are not allowed to leave.
Yeah, it was always going to be this time of year that we were going to be able to get caught up on those
Yes,
things,
but now it's really like, man, we have
are.
no excuse.
Bacon.
Fair enough. Oh, and you may appreciate this. I just messaged Dave, the same initial words of advice for streaming I gave you bros a couple years ago. It was very useful, Slivers. I mean, honestly, we wouldn't be where we are without you. You had tons and tons of good advice.
Yeah, your guidance has been very valuable, my friend.
And everyone who knows stuff too, you know. But Slivers, you have taken many calls with us where we're just like, we don't know what's going on.
You're like, I got you, baby birds. Don't worry about it.
I'll feed you, baby birds.
I said, nom, yes, please.
Thank you, Slivers. All right, so that is the medal done on all of them. I'm going to go through... are you going to do more play with patrons? That would be fun. Yes, we're going to be starting that up this week. I'm actually going to make a Patreon post about it today, talking about bringing it back up. Again, we just got so busy. I mean, almost every single week we were here was just like... It was either, like a 3-day week because we were leaving again.
Yeah, either we were out of town or catching up from being out of town and also preparing for being out of town. It was just like...
It was literally that cycle.
It was just either, gone or preparing to be gone.
Yeah, so sorry if you are a patron of ours and, you know, we haven't had a chance to do that.
Like Wells Fargo, we're recommitting to you.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that this redeemed highlight my message. Snaggle with the Kraken. I love it. What a message to highlight. Super Kraken. But yeah, so that'll be starting up this week. We'll probably do, I'll probably do one, or Mike can do one as well this weekend. You know, so yeah, it'll be starting back up again.
Let's game together, fam. What say you?
What say you?
I say so. You are a dick. I'm into that. This is coming together nice. I'm once again just down to a snail's pace, but it's fine.
It's all right. It's the first one.
Oops. Yeah, this is one where it's just like, yep, get a game plan before you begin.
Yeah, you gotta. You just gotta. Despite my guidance, you are succeeding. It's more like, no. You are very helpful.
Better hush right now. You give us awesome ideas, helped us, you know, make sure that we're looking slick, sounding slick, helping us understand, you know, people better and like what people like to see, making sure we're doing this thing right. You know what I mean? Helping us see the bigger picture, like not just, oh, we can do this thing and maybe make a couple bucks or whatever, but it's just like you and then like Karen and stuff have like said like, no, you got like an opportunity here to like connect with people and connect people together and all sorts of like really amazing things that are like so much deeper and more important than any sort of financial ramifications of doing this stuff. And like, you're a huge piece of that, man. A piece of the heart of it all.
Yeah,
that's what matters. That's what.
Don't get me wrong. We're here for the money, but
also the heart, though.
On top of that, we're here for the money. No, exactly. It's like, don't get me wrong. There's not, for how big we are, there's not a ton of money in Twitch. We don't stream as much as we do. You know, we do it because we love it, and we do it because we love connecting with our community. Like, it's been the best thing. It's like, you could argue, considering that like board games on Twitch hasn't grown as much as we would want it to, despite us been bugging people for years now to, you know, come start watching board gamers on Twitch or come start streaming on Twitch. You know, it still hasn't grown that much, you know, and which is kind of unfortunate. So it's like, you could argue that like our time would be better spent focusing on making videos for YouTube rather than streaming on Twitch. Meh. But it's like, yeah, in terms of like growing our brand, that would probably be the smarter thing to do. Like, but we're not going to do that because this is so important to us and our own like creative mental health and just our happiness in general, that like we absolutely have to keep doing this, you know? It's like, it's just the best.
Yeah.
It's no replacement for getting to just hang out with y'all multiple times a week and talk.
Sliver says, I remember getting you to understand that you didn't have to do something special for subs only. Yeah. It says, you were wanting to give the sub something, not realizing the reason we are subbing is because you have. And that was a huge moment.
That's a good quote right there.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, snaps. Snap turtles.
So being ahead of the curve can pay dividends. So no, you're not wrong. And we are still hoping that Board Games on Twitch gets much bigger and that we're already here and established. Don't get me wrong. We're still hoping for that. But,
especially, it's I think, good business to really be optimistic about the growth of Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was no hope for it growing, we wouldn't have stuck around. We would have switched streaming over on YouTube, you know?
Yeah, but forget that.
Who wants to do that? Am I right, though?
None of that business. Thank you very much. Thank you, please. I like it over here.
Yeah,
Twitch has been fun.
Greatly prefer Twitch.
It's my favorite thing we do.
Yeah, me too.
From here, I mean, my favorite thing we do is go to cons and travel.
Well, yeah,
to
of course,
meet people in person. But you know, from the homestead, it's just like it's so fun.
Yeah,
and like it's honestly kept us playing games because like you get so busy making stuff, you don't have time to play.
We wouldn't play games pretty much at all if we didn't have this.
We have to, you know, that's the whole point is we play games and it's just like freaking awesome. Helps us actually enjoy this hobby. You know, for what it should be.
Which is generally important. Yeah.
Playing games and connecting with people, and the game is just a way to get people together. And then it's all connection from there, baby.
It's all connection from there, baby.
It's all Rice Krispies and tire swings. Sure. Nailed it. Metaphor successfully done. I'm into this. This thing is actually kind of looking cool.
Yeah, dude.
The weathering effects. I think it's gonna look like a thing. I think it's gonna look like
it's gonna look awesome. I'm pretty pumped about both these. I think they look cool.
Very excited.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna do kind of a little psycho. I know.
Intimidated by
and that's good though. Like you gotta walk through that. Any kind of creativity. Like you gotta. You don't get better about doing like, you know, same old whatever. You know, it's you gotta work on. You gotta push yourself out of your comfort zone. Or else you never get better. Especially with mini painting, I've been really trying to do that because it's very easy just to stick in the whole base coat, wash, 2 coats, highlight, done. Because they look good, and they look good enough, but they don't look great.
Well, and it's like again, it comes down to like what you're trying to get out of this. Like for you, it's much more of an artistically fulfilling process. You're not painting these because you're like, man, I gotta paint these before I play. You're like, you could probably paint these and never play with it and don't care because you're here for the art part.
Yeah.
You know, and so it depends on what you're trying to get out of it and stuff. And that's one thing I like about, you know, mini painting and something you've talked a lot about is just like, if you just want some painted stuff for your game so it looks like a little cooler, you can do those couple things that you just mentioned and be done and it will look dope.
It'll look dope.
It'll look super sick, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you want to get into it for the art and to make it an art form for yourself, and just a really way for you to, you know, be artistically expressive, man, you can go deep into the stuff Nick shows me. Just blows my mind.
Yeah,
dude. Metallic metals and things, and the highlighting.
That's what I was telling you. I'm like, I'm not that good. You look at stuff like that, and you're like, what? Like I'm working towards that, but it's
not
like
far off, man. You do some stuff that's pretty
cool. Am, dude. Nah, man. The stuff I show you, bro. Oh my lord.
Paint that next week, dude. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it is. You know, but it's like any craft. You just work, get better.
You gotta hone it.
Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Keep working. That's what you gotta do.
Keep twerking.
Keep twerking. Working and twerking.
Away.
I do this hobby to fight dragons. Yes! Can I make a painting suggestion? Of course, Slivers, go for it. I've just said paywalling has worked for more than a few people in the industry, so it seems, though I agree, it goes against who you both are. Another option is the Kickstarter route, though it's absurd how many of them have promos, XYZ, and junk. Yeah, they all have tons and tons of promos. We could, and honestly, we might make more money on Kickstarter than we do doing our Patreon. But it's
Merrimack, enjoy your meeting.
Oh, Merrimack, hi, bye. If we know anybody at that meeting, tell your meeting we said hi.
Tell them all.
Tell all of them we said hi.
Brothers Murph, stop their stream and say hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
And it does. And honestly, like, our Patreon would probably be bigger if we put stuff behind paywalls. It does work. People want special stuff. They do. And that's not necessarily bad. Like, people want special stuff. That's fine.
Sure.
Like, and there are certain things, or like, if we did reviews on our YouTube channel, we would be, like, we're about to, just let you know, we're about to make a big push for 10,000 subscribers. Because we're, at this point, like, 10 or 15 away from 9,500. So we're going to start making a big push for 10,000 subscribers. And we have some giveaways coming up. We're setting stuff up. Probably by the end of this week, we're going to start talking about it. But nonetheless, it's like we would have hit 10,000 a long time ago if we did reviews. Because reviews are what people look for on YouTube for board games. But we don't have any interest in doing reviews. Like, we just don't. Like, it's not something we care about, not something we want to do. And it just wouldn't be us. So we don't. You know, it's the same with that. It's like paywalling, putting stuff behind paywalls. Like, we're both broke.
With that said,
And have been broke for a lot of our lives.
with that said, we are going to start doing reviews of a fashion, but in our way.
We are?
Yeah, bro.
What are we doing?
We're doing paid reviews, Nick. It's the new latest thing. It's very cool.
But yeah, so nonetheless, it's like we could put stuff behind paywalls, but we're not going to. It's just like there's a lot. I mean, even now today, like, I don't support, there's a couple patrons I can support, but like, for the most part, I can't, because I literally can't afford it. Like, and I don't want to be denied stuff because I can't afford it. It's not, and so like for us to then turn around and put a bunch of stuff behind paywalls, aside from like, we'll post like pictures on our Patreon, or like allow you to like be part of polls or something like that.
But it's not going to affect, like, no one won't get content. You just get to maybe help shape the content that comes out, and then then everyone gets to enjoy that. Like, it's just a fun way to, like, be able to participate. But yeah, the whole, again, it's like to each their own. I mean, I don't know if it just doesn't fit who we are. It doesn't fit what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anyone's right or wrong for doing it one way or another. It's, it's just different. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Sure. Slayer said, since these mechs have multiple of the same, can you take side-by-side pics of washed versus not washed to show everyone the difference?
We're actually going to be doing more kind of work in progress pictures and stuff for GenCon to push out and to see the progress. So we'll absolutely do that before a wash and after a wash. That's a great idea.
So I'm going to do this right now, actually.
Because it will make a difference once you wash that bad boy.
Yes, it will. Yeah, there are some people who do put stuff everything behind paywalls, you know? It's just not our way. And that's okay. And again, like, it's they're allowed to do whatever they want on their own channel, or for their own content or whatever, and it's like, they're not necessarily wrong, it's just different. Alright, cool. Let's take a picture of those. Alright, so I'm going to start Hirschen. Now, these look cool, dude.
Brothers Murph way is the best way.
I mean, it is the only way. These are going to look awesome.
Pretty awesome. And once we get
you did a really clean job with the red, too. This is nice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, this is going to look cool.
It's not cool. It's going to look nice with a wash. It'll darken it a hair.
Yeah, it could be a little darker, but it just doesn't have enough definition, but that's what a wash is for, so it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So it's a good start.
Only thing not to point out, but you did not paint this part right here.
What? Oh, thank you.
No worries. Although, again,
freaking
things like that,
mech
washes
ruin, bro.
will cover up as well. So I'm going to do, for all the metal, I'm going to do Agrax, Earthshade, and Nuln Oil. So this is a brown and a black. I'm going to do probably about a 50-50 mix. So I will pay for review, but only if future Murphs make an appearance. Mostly to ask them when we can go outside and play games with other people in real life. Yeah, future Murphs are something that are going to stay around. I love this. Anytime we have a reason to do a future Murph segment, I get very excited. I freaking love doing future Murph stuff. I mean, my future self loves doing it.
I mean, they keep coming back for a reason, I guess. I mean, we can't control what they do or when they arrive, but when they do, it's usually a hoot and a half.
It's a hoot and a half.
The thing I appreciate is that, like, a lot of clothes that we have here in the house now, they kept for so long.
That's the thing.
Like, that's many years in the future, and they must have preserved them to keep them from getting torn up by time. And
must have.
So it's just a wild thing.
Yeah, so that's the kind of, you kind of see it up here. So this is the color I'm going for, a really dark brown, essentially.
Oh, wow.
People are asking if people's viewership has gone up or down since they went behind a paywall. And it's like, their viewership or something might have gone down, but if make more money with less viewers, like, it probably doesn't matter to them. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start. So again, so this one I'm just doing the metal. I'm going to do the paneling with a green and brown mix. Because I still want it to be dark and dirty, but I want it to be have a green tint to it. As opposed...
So you're not going to do the same wash for the entire thing?
No.
You're going to kind of be selective?
I could, honestly, I could just do this brown, black over it, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay. But...
No, I mean, that's
just a personal choice. Yeah, it's like
I'm just trying to learn. That's one thing I didn't realize, that washes have different pigment to them, different colors. You know,
they do.
They all kind of do a similar thing, but they will hueify, I think is the technical term.
Hueify, yes.
Into a certain direction. Another technical term.
Yes. Indeed, sir. That is exactly. So you can already see, like, it just brings out the definition of the legs here.
Golly, I'm just sloppy. I'm just painting whole sections silver now. I gotta clean that up. It's gonna be some red touch-ups going on here in a couple minutes. Don't mind me.
All right.
Oh. Silver says, this is my latest word of wisdom regarding social distancing is poo-pourri, which is a spray you can put into your bathroom. They usually smell pretty good. I just am so put off by the name.
Me too. I hate it.
I think it's just so crass, but it's very nice. It's like very zesty and stuff.
Yes.
Why this isn't sold out in toilet paper is disturbing.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Quicksand says, I wish there were more how to play videos over reviews. I find those way more helpful when deciding what to buy. I agree, because you'll get a pretty thorough look at the game.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say not all of them are good how-tos. That's true. There's some that are not good. Vischer said Rodney and Paul are pretty darn clear. I mean, they're no Shea Parker, but
they're no Shea Parker. Shea Parker's the best.
Shea Parker's the best in the game.
And I'm not just saying that because he's our friend. I actually do think he is the best.
He pays me to say that, but it's fine.
That is also true.
No, I appreciate what Shea does. And Shea, to be fair, covers kind of more specific fare.
He does. He does have a more specific thing that he does.
Sweet 402.
It's funny when we were in Harrogate at AirCon, we were at breakfast and there was someone watching one of Shay's videos next to us.
Getting ready to play something that day, it looks like.
Getting something to play something, was watching Shay's how-to. It was awesome.
I was like, wow.
That's weird.
It's one of those things that's like good to know that like your work gets out there. Like we all know it does. You can see the views and analytics and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like you see that and you're like, wow, that's cool. There's someone in a whole different continent watching your how to play video. So we take a picture of the person watching and then sends it to Shay.
Send it to Shay, talk about how famous he is.
Yeah, so hey, famous guy.
What's up, you butt?
Jolly old be loving your stuff, man, I'm telling you.
Jolly old England.
I'd be loving it over here. I'd be living for it over here. I said, your videos are as British as baked beans at breakfast, babe. Speaking of, when I was in Britain, I got into the baked beans and breakfast.
You did. I still did not like it.
Oh no, I'm into it. It's real good.
How to are probably the most time-consuming videos to make in board gaming. Yes, they are.
Yes,
We can actively say that they are. They're very difficult.
They're very hard work. Like, big kudos to the Rodneys and the Pauls and the Shays and the Rodos.
It is so much work.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Even like for like my You Can Solo That's, I just have to teach the solo part of it, and it takes forever. It is incredibly difficult.
Because you have to be thorough.
Yes.
You know, you do.
Have to be thorough. You have to make sure you're doing stuff right. Whereas like
ideally, you replace a rule book, right? So you better have
you better be right. Whereas something like our in focuses we do for Board Game Geek, like not that we don't have to be correct, we do have to make sure we're getting all the rules right. But it's like we can like leave a bunch of stuff out. We can make executive decisions. I'm like, well, we don't need to talk about this rule because it's just not relevant for like an overview like this. And so it's like, but like doing a full rules teach is very, very difficult. We've had to do a couple of them for various things, and they are very hard.
Yeah, shouts out to people, man. It's hard work. Yeah, they're fun.
John Gets Games that someone's talking about is very good. RTFM obviously is the best. 3-minute board games are good as well. Yes, they're the people who are the prominent rules teachers are all very good at what they do. They really are.
Mad skills. Mad skillet.
Caesar skillet.
Get your Caesar skillet on.
Oh gosh, we have 2 minutes. Holy crap!
What?
This went by fast.
Oh golly!
Last one we had like a half hour. I'm sorry, everybody. We're about to be out of here.
I'm in this detail work right now and looked up in a minute.
We just been chatting. Well, this was a very fun one. This has been a great little painting sesh right here. So next week on Wednesday, we'll be probably finishing up these mechs, and then maybe we'll we have one more set of mechs after that, after this one, and maybe we'll double team that one depending on how far we get.
Love it.
And then that'll be it for Scythe. This is gonna be nice because at this point we're gonna be done with all the mechs. We haven't done any of the characters yet because the mechs are easier. Although now I'd be comfortable doing the characters. But when I first started painting the mechs, I was like, oh, nope, not good at painting yet. And so I need to make sure to do the mechs because they're a little bit easier to do. So, but I tell you, it does feel great when you're playing a faction that's painted.
Oh, it feels real cool.
Alrighty, everybody, though. We will probably, let's get this last bit here. And we'll probably, I'm going to finish up washing these while off camera.
Be-ba-do-do. Sweet fountain.
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back on our channel tomorrow. We're going to be playing Novus.
Legends of
Novus. Thanks to Slivers.
Shouts out, Slivs.
Shouts out to Slivers getting that connect with Fundamental Games. So we'll be playing that tomorrow, which should be super, super fun. How goes the rules learning? It's going. That's one of the main things we're doing today is geting all that stuff down. And then we're going to hit up.
Do some practice play.
Oh, boy.
Make sure we get it down.
If we need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so should be fun. Should be good. And we'll see you all tomorrow, 6 p.m. our time. We'll also have a top 10. We're going to have our top 10 solo games coming out tomorrow, which will be really, really cool.
Get after it.
And yeah, and just in general, be good to each other, play some games. If you are one of our patrons, make sure to check out our Patreon because we are going to be putting up some times to play games with the patrons. And then in general, we have some cool new goals there, including getting a billboard. That's right.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
let's get on a billboard, you bets.
LOL, Cindy wouldn't play Isle of Cats last night. Why? What? Silly Cindy. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Or rest of your day, rather. Y'all are the best. We'll see you later. Thank you so much, GenCon, for having us, per usual. And we will
love
see
you.
See you later. See you tomorrow on the stream. See you in the interwebs.
Cheers, y'all. We'll see
Bye,
you
everybody.
tomorrow.